He talks right, he knows his stuff, and he knows how to make a girl laugh.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the studios in the wrestling capital of the South, it's another terrific episode of The BENGEBUSTER Show. Please welcome your host, Tony Binge.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the BENGEBUSTER Show, coming to you right here in the studios of the wrestling capital of the South. I'm talking about Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm talking about none other than the owner, promoter, the boss, Michael Elliott of the NAWA. Michael, what is going on?
Oh, well, I didn't know I was a king, but I do appreciate that compliment. I'm just nobody, but, you know, I'm doing good, buddy. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I know that you're traveling. You're always on the go, man. You're a very busy guy. You got a lot of hats to wear. I know that, and man, I don't know if I could wear all the ones that you wear, but man, everything you do a great job, and man, it's always a pleasure working for you there at the NAWA.
With the head you got, Tony, you should probably wear a hat.
You got that right.
But yeah.
But man,
you know,
the story is the hot story. You know, before we get into NAWA, the hot story of this week.
We're gonna throw our name in the hat.
I think you should, man. It'd be a great a great investment. But no, seriously, what do you think about that? That's really crazy to know that the WWE is for sale.
I honestly never thought I would see the day that Vince McMahon wasn't involved with it, and now I never thought I'd see the day that it was for sale.
Yeah, me neither. I was like, it's so crazy to think that that, you know, he buys it from his dad. He grows it to this $1 million conglomerate company, and now he's putting it up for sale.
Yeah, it's definitely something I never thought I'd see that happen in my lifetime. It'd be interesting to see who does buy it.
Yeah, it really will, and I'm waiting to see. You know, I think my opinion, I'd like to see Disney buy it, because everything that they touch turns to gold. They have a lot of lot of irons in the fire, but I really think that that Disney would they're actually my pick.
Well, I don't really have a pick or a favorite, but there's just so many variables to this sale and the things that WWE is involved in that it's going to take the right purchaser to continue to do what they do.
Yeah, you're right, and but you know, the big news today, Stephanie resigned, so a lot going on there in the WWE, but hopefully those stocks keep rising so I can keep putting money in my bank account so I can buy more wrestling. Got a few shares. I'm just trying to look out for my future. That's all I'm doing.
I heard you were just right under Mr. McMahon in percentage of stocks or whatever it is.
Well, he has a couple more than me. But speaking of stocks in the company, man, you have got all the stocks in the NAWA these days, I hear.
That's correct. I recently just took over everything, and it's exciting. It's new. It's something I'm still learning. It's just another thing in professional wrestling that I've done, that I'm doing, and hopefully it's a successful adventure, and we can grow NAWA slowly. You know, the process is going to be very slow for us, but I think we're heading in the right direction. We just got to figure out a few things, and I think we'll be fine. Yeah.
I mean, I like I said, I've been with the NAWA probably just as long as you have, and you know, one thing I always talk about on this podcast is how how, and I'm not saying it's because you're on here. If you go back and listen to some other podcasts, you'll hear me say the same thing. But how it's such a pleasure working for the NAWA, because it's like, the locker room, it doesn't matter, because I know you're always bringing in, new faces and stuff. And then of course you have us, it's legends that are there at most every show. But regardless, like there's never any, backstage, or at least I haven't seen it, but any like backstage politics or somebody trying to bury somebody else, or, it seems like all the guys always get along really well.
Yeah, I'm very happy with the roster and the locker room that we have right now. In my entire time, you do what you're asked, have a good time, and everybody gets along. And I hope that continues, because if it doesn't, I'll put a stop to it really, really quick.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I've been in the wrestling business now longer than I care to remember some days, but I've wrestled a lot of places, but NAWA is always from the first show that I worked to now. I mean, it feels like it's my home. It's my home territory. It's my home wrestling company. NAWA has always been a big sponsor of my podcast. Every show I try to run a commercial. Although right now I'm having some technical issues with my podcast machine, so I'm not able wasn't able to do a commercial this time. Hopefully, the next show I'll have another good commercial running. But I've always enjoyed working for the NAWA. We always got great storylines. The one good thing about NAWA, you give so many people an opportunity, a place to learn their craft and work and have fun, and I think all the guys always have a good time together. One of the things I've enjoyed today is seeing all the spats between the guys talking junk about this Bunkhouse Stampede.
Yeah, I love NAWA. From the first show I went to, I fell in love. It's, in the wrestling community, we may not be looked at as a top tier promotion or whatever, or one of the destination places, but I would put our show and our show against anybody out there. You may not know everybody that's on the show, but if you came and watched the show, you'd be entertained. You'd like the wrestlers. You'd love the show. I feel like we're slowly creeping up there on people's radars.
Oh yeah, for sure. And you look back at all the shows that we've done. I mean, we've the NAWA have brought in some really big stars. We've had the Rock'n'Roll Express. We've had help me out here. We've had the Rock'n'Roll Express, of course, George South. So many greats that have came through. The Barbarian. Henry Godwin. I mean, yeah, Jimmy Valiant. List goes on and on. And I don't think I've ever worked an NAWA show that when I left, I said, man, that show sucked. Because it's always, the crowds are always really hot. A lot of the guys know how to draw heat, get heat, keep the baby faces strong, and that's really what this business is about.
And I think we got a good mix of veterans and young guys, and I think it just mixes really well. I think we have something for everybody that's a wrestling fan. We try to offer something on the card for everyone. It's not just pure technical wrestling or the super indie wrestling style. It's a little bit of everything.
Yeah, and that's probably one of the things that makes it stand out as much as it does. And I know that if you're a listener out there and you're in the western part of North Carolina and you see NAWA come out, and I can tell you, Michael, one of the most amazing things that I remember that has always stuck to my mind, and I don't remember the buildings, but I remember a few years back, I think this might have been before the pandemic or right after the pandemic, but NAWA had a show booked in a building. That building got canceled for some reason the night before. And all the NAWA done was go on their Facebook page and say, venue has changed. We're going to be at the Morganton or the Burke County Fairgrounds, and it almost sold out. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that very well, Tony. That was actually my second show that I ever did for NAWA when Jason Freeman was in charge, and I was on my way to Drexel. The show was it was the second annual Bunkhouse Stampede, and we were supposed to be in Drexel, North Carolina. I've never been to that building, still have never been to that venue. I'd love to go check it out. I don't know if they want wrestling back there or not, but I was on my way to Drexel. I got a phone call from Jason, said, hey, the venue's changed, we're going here. And I was like, what in the hell is going on? I'm about to turn around and go back home.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually told this to Jason the other day. I was like, I'm really happy that I went over to the Burke County Fairgrounds, and because I wouldn't be where I am today with NAWA if I turned around and went home.
Yeah, and but that tells you how much the fans love the product, because not even a 24-hour notice, boom, the venue's changed. We're in another building, and the people came out. And I remember back in the dressing room, I was getting ready, and I don't remember who I was talking to. It might have been Donnie, but I looked at him and I said, "Man," I said, "I've never worked a show where the venue got changed the very next day, and I don't know how good it's going to draw." And Donnie goes, "Yeah, man." He's like, "Well, at least we was able to get a building to do a show." I said, "Yeah, for sure." And then about 10 minutes later, I look out and he said, "Man, it's packed out there."
Well, the venue actually changed the day of.
Okay. Jason, I knew it was.
Jason pulled up to the venue in Drexel and went in there, and the lady said, "I didn't know we had a wrestling show today."
Oh my gosh.
He had to get on the phone, and they were able to secure the fairgrounds luckily that night.
That's good. Yeah. Years ago in the 90s, I remember there was another promotion that ran there in Morganton called Burke County Wrestling. And they used to do, like, years ago in the 90s, every year they would have the Burke County Fair, and the fair would hire the BCW to come in there and do shows. And I remember, I think this was in 97, I worked Jimmy Valiant for the very first time in that building, and man, as far as you could see was people. It was packed, standing room only. You couldn't see the walls, you couldn't see the floor. It was tremendous, and it's very sad to see how, as the years have progressed, that the fair has pretty much died.
Well, they've got new ownership over there now, and they're starting to take care of the property again. And there has been talks of possibly bringing the fair back over there, and they've talked to us about maybe doing a wrestling show 1 or 2 nights during the fair, but nothing substantial's come of it. But they have brought that up to us, and we're hoping it happens. We'd love to bring that tradition back. Yeah,
that would be awesome. I would love that, because nothing is more fun than coming and wrestling, a couple nights a week in the fall, and just that atmosphere there in Burke County, like it was in the 90s, man. Wrestling was hot. I remember Boogie and I, we had a basic match, and we as soon as Boogie grabbed my nose, man, it was like the roof came off. I was like, man, I wasn't used to that, and I was like, man, this is crazy. So yeah, good times, but I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what the future holds for the NAWA. But I'm really excited to talk tonight about the Bunkhouse Stampede. You got almost 30 men vying for the title of the Bunkhouse champion. And like I said earlier on our private Facebook feed, the guys are pumped up. They're ready, man.
Oh yeah, it's exciting. I'm excited to be in the NORA this Saturday, but I'd rather be in a private cabin up in Gatlinburg. But I'm going to be at the Bunkhouse Stampede and see who's going to win that 30-man ring weapons, come as you are Bunkhouse Stampede. It's going to be interesting to see who walks out of Lenore, the winner of the Bunkhouse Stampede.
I know. I can't wait to see it. And originally I was booked for the Bunkhouse Stampede. And about 2 hours ago, I was informed that my wife had planned a surprise getaway to Gatlinburg in a cabin, me and her and my son, she wasn't going to tell me until Friday when it was time to leave. And then I told her, I said, hey, I'm going to, don't forget this Saturday I got a wrestling show. And I could see the look on her face, like, you know, she was either constipated or something. And then she said, are you serious? And I'm like, well, yeah. I mean, I've been booked on it for almost a month. And so she says, well, I got us booked in the cabin and I've already paid for it and I can't cancel it. I was like, are you kidding me? Like when you make plans like this, you got to tell me in advance. She's
I don't know, Tony. Tony, is it because you're afraid to get in the ring with the Big Nasty, Dre White, and John Matthews?
Well,
that 6-man tag you're supposed to be a part of. It's okay to admit that you're scared.
Well, you know, I was really excited about this 6-man because a couple of those guys I never got in the ring with before. I was really looking forward to wrestling Dre White. And you know, and my team, they were ready. They called me a couple of days ago, and we were going over a game plan. But the good thing is my manager, Bobby Joe, he is still coming. He's still going to be there, and he's going to be right there in those guys' corner. And he's bringing my replacement. Now that replacement won't be as good as me, but he will be there.
It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see who can fill the shoes or the boots of the superstar Tony Benj. We'll find out who it's going to be. But I think you know, it's okay to admit that you're scared. I mean, I'd be afraid to get in the ring with Big Nasty just by himself.
Well,
but you're getting in the ring with him and two other guys.
Yeah, that's true. But you know, I'm just getting started though. See, the thing about it is I'm going back and remembering that you know, this past summer, when the NAWA had that the big event there at the brewery in Charlotte, I was about to win that cage battle royal, and the Big Nasty snuck up from behind and pushed me out of the ring, and then he stomped my fingers. I still have a broken fingernail from that day. So one day down the road, I'm going to get Big Nasty, and I'm going to embarrass him. I'm going to go down to his little whiskey still. I'm going to burn it to the ground. And me and Bobby Lee and our entourage is just going to go off and party like it's 1985 all over again.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see who Bobby Lee can come up with on such short notice. But I'm sure it'll be a suitable replacement. I'm sure he'll find somebody good. But now, do we have a date for our next show coming up after the Bunkhouse? Right now, we are not scheduled for anything until March the 11th. We'll be at the Resident Culture Brewing Company in Charlotte, North Carolina. And those events are free to the public. You don't have to pay admission. You can come out and watch the wrestling show for free, drink some beer. They have food trucks. It's a great environment. We've been there several times over the last year, and it's a great relationship that we've built with those guys, and we look forward to continuing it for many years to come.
You know, and I enjoy Resident Evil. That Resident Culture. I call it Resident Evil. That's a game, but Resident Culture.
It's a hell of a video.
It's a great venue for wrestling. Like I remember like I said, this past summer was my first time being there, and I was like blown away. I was like, man, because you know the people that come out are not your average wrestling crowd, and it's a great mix of everybody, and everybody seems to have a great time and enjoy the wrestling matches.
They love the brutality. They love the excitement of it. I mean, we were just there a few weeks ago in December, and we had an extreme Christmas tree match with Christmas trees wrapped in barbed wire, wreaths wrapped in barbed wire, and they just ate it up. I mean, it was a Christmas-themed hardcore match, and the non-wrestling fan that was there just ate it up. They loved it. They enjoyed the whole show. It was a great time.
Yeah, it was good, and a matter of fact, that was the show where I picked up the W over Ted.
Finally won.
Well, you know, my what I've known in the years I've been working for the NAWA, what I've been missing is that confidence in the corner, and so I have got Bobby Lee there, and he gave me something. I mean, not give me something. He gave me some advice on how to beat Ted, and it worked. It worked. I was very surprised. As a matter of fact, what I heard after that match, I hit Ted so hard with the right hand that he had to take some time off. So he won't be back until probably March or April.
Yeah, unfortunately, Ted has had to take a couple of months off due to what you did to him. If there was instant replay in professional wrestling, Tony, things probably wouldn't work out in your favor very often.
Well, that's the good part about pro wrestling is we don't do instant replays. I mean, you can go back and watch them for your enjoyment, but it doesn't change the outcome of the match. And it just the way it is, man. And like I said, I got the W. I got rid of Ted, and I think his partner had already left and ran away. The week before. His partner
didn't even show up. Let's just be honest. He didn't even come.
Well, he might have had car trouble. He may have had car trouble. He may have had a flat tire. I mean, I don't. Has the office even heard from Max Carnage since his disappearance?
We have not officially heard from Max Carnage. No.
Might want to ask Bobby Lee. He might have some ideas. Who knows?
Who was this Bobby Lee fella? I don't know anything about him. He just kind of showed up one day.
Well, as most people that follow my show know that I love California. I love show business, and Bobby Lee actually has managed and promoted a lot of concerts, and he reached out to me and told me that how he wanted to get into pro wrestling, and he knew that I had a lot of connections and been in the wrestling business for a while, and he guaranteed me that if I would sign him on as my manager, that in just a short period of time, he was going to take me to the top of the NAWA and see to it that I get a NAWA heavyweight title match. Our first day together, he made that happen, although Donnie cheated, and like you said, it's too bad that we don't do instant replay, because then we could have come back and saw how Donnie hit me in the head with Digger's cane and got the win. But in event, down the road, me and Donnie or whoever the NAWA champion is, we're going to cross paths at some point before this year's up. And Bobby Lee has assured me the title, and so I'm just going to patiently wait that out and see what happens.
Well, that's good. But the winner of this Bunkhouse Stampede, Tony, the winner is guaranteed a title shot at any championship in NAWA that they want, whenever they want, within the calendar year. So the winner can choose to wrestle for the heavyweight title, the TV title, or they can pick a partner and go after the tag team titles. So it's going to be interesting to see who the winner is and where they decide to go. Now, most people, they go straight for that heavyweight championship.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I would.
Oh, I would do the same. Yeah, for sure. I'd go right for the heavyweight title. Matter of fact, I would probably challenge him right then and there, while he's all battered and bruised up from the bunkhouse, and it'd be an easy win.
Well, the heavyweight championship is going to be on the line in a Texas bull rope match, as Big Donnie's defending against Chris Thunder Anderson in a rematch from our last show. These two big bulls went out there and beat each other up and went to a double count out, and Thunder left Big Donnie bloody at the end of that fight. So we had to hook them up to a Texas bull rope and just let them beat the crap out of each other for the heavyweight title.
That right there is some good matchmaking. I have to commend the committee on that. But if I'm a betting man, I'm gonna have to put my money on Chris Thunder Anderson, because I've been in the ring with both of these guys, Donnie and Chris. And man, Chris is one tough hombre, and just when you think that he is your friend, boom, there comes a knife in the back, and he will. Because matter of fact, at one of the bunkhouses, he did me like that. I thought he and I were going to form a little alliance, and as soon as I turned my back, boom, he hits me and throws me over the top rope. So I hadn't forgot that. But Donnie better really. I think what he should do is shine up that belt, make sure it's good and shiny. Because Chris is going to win it from Donnie, and then I'm going to go win it from Chris.
Well, Thunder is
plain and simple.
Evil. He's evil, mean, and nasty. They don't call him that and say that about him for no reason. He's definitely one tough customer.
very tough, a member of the Anderson family, and all those guys are super super tough. Ole is probably the toughest one of them all, and Ole at his age is still a pretty tough guy to deal with.
Well, no disrespect to the Anderson family, but the Donnie family, that's a pretty tough lineage there too.
Well, yeah, I mean,
you got little Donnie, you got Big Donnie, and you got Golden Gladiator says that Girl Donnie.
Yeah,
so, that's a tough lineage to come from. Big Donnie's no pushover either.
You're right, and an interesting side note that I'm sure you probably know, but when I first broke into the wrestling business, before I went up to Jimmy Valiant's wrestling camp, I kind of got my feet wet, so to speak, with Donnie and his company, the BCW, and so early on in my career, whenever they were having their TV shows, I had to face Donnie in like maybe my third or fourth match. And man, I thought he killed me. But so I've known Donnie for a very long time. We go back about 30 years, and all kidding aside, Donnie and I sometimes sit in the locker room and we talk and we say, brother, years ago when we all started, you and I were there, and now we look around this dressing room and it's still you and me, and everybody else is gone. So that's one of the cool things that I guess bragging rights that me and Donnie have, going back to those old NA or old BCW days. The only people that I see or have seen in the NAWA that was there was me, Donnie, and Jason Freeman.
That's the name a lot of people don't know is Jason Freeman, and he doesn't get the credit that he deserves in the independent wrestling community in the Carolinas for a guy that can pretty much do anything and everything in wrestling, and he's done it well for a very, very long time. I think Jason gets overlooked by many people, and he shouldn't. I think he's deserving of a lot of credit and for the things that he's done, and I hope he sticks around for a little bit longer, because he's still got some gas left in the tank.
He definitely does. And, when I first started, Jason was, I think he was 14 or 15 years old, and he was refereeing then. And so that's how he started out. But even then, he could, at a 15-year-old kid, he could outwork most of the guys that were in that locker room. And I was so excited years and years later, when I got the call from him, and he told me that he wanted me to come be a part of the NAWA, and he wanted to work with me, and then he and I had a few matches together, and then he had an idea for a tag team, and then that tag team he and I put together, and we went on to really do well in the NAWA, and I think a lot of Jason. I think Jason knows that. I text him from time to time and tell him I miss him, and I was checking on him, and like you said, Jason definitely doesn't get the credit he deserves. I mean, golly, you look back, how many books has he written already?
He's done several of them, and I know that he's got a few more in the works. Will he finish them? I don't know. I hope he does. He's got a couple of interesting ones coming out, but hopefully he'll get that fire back and finish those books, and maybe step in the ring a few more times.
Yep, I hope so. Well, let's tell the people at home how they can get tickets and come see the NAWA this Saturday night in Lenoir, North Carolina, with the Bunkhouse Stampede.
Well, if you want to get the best deal on tickets, you go to our Facebook page. There's several posts. We have a link there for discounted adult tickets. That's online only. You can get them for $6. You do have to pay a small service fee, but that is the cheapest way to get into the show if you're an adult. Kids are still $5 online at the door. Adults are $10, and kids are still $5. If you're 5 years and under, you're getting for free. But that's the best way if you want to get in for a fair price. Times are tough right now. Everybody's trying to stretch a dollar out, so I always try to offer people a discount if you want to buy tickets in advance. So that's the best way to do it, is to go on our Facebook page. You'll find the link there, and get you some discounted tickets.
And I'll tell you that is a great price for some great entertainment. I know a few weeks ago, and I'm not mentioning no names, but I went to a big wrestling show, and I think my ticket was $50, and the entertainment definitely wasn't where the NAWA is. So definitely, fans, if you're out there, it doesn't matter where you live, Lenore, Morganton, Glen Alpine, Thomasville, New York, it doesn't matter. Get your car, get your family, and bring them out to see the NAWA, because they are, and I'm going to steal this from Crockett, but they are the major league of the independent here in the Carolinas. I'll put that up against anybody. They put everything, or I'm saying we put everything that we have into these shows. From the office to the guys putting the ring up. Like we said earlier, all the guys, we have a great locker room. Everybody gets along. I don't think there's any real bad blood between anybody. Everybody loves to work together, and it's always a fun time working for the NAWA.
Well, if you don't talk about bad blood, there's a lot of bad blood that's going on over those NAWA tag team titles in this four-way elimination tag team match we got at the Bunkhouse. These four teams have just been talking so much junk to each other. I can't wait to see what happens in this four-way tag when these guys actually come face-to-face inside the square circle, and who's going to walk out with those tag team titles. It's going to be interesting to see if the Allen brothers, who just won the belts, can keep them as they defend them against the Black Society, Zay Vega and Cairo Lindsay, and also the team of the Kindred. It's been you told me earlier, you've been seeing this, and a lot of trash talk between all four teams here, and it's going to be interesting to see who can, win this four-way elimination and walk out with the gold.
I think I'm gonna put my money on the Kindred, because I think those guys are hungry. They're ready. I've seen their videos. I've seen them in action, and they're the young ones, but I'm putting my money on them.
Yeah, they're definitely the most least experienced team in the four-way, but you can't overlook them. They have just as good a shot as anyone else to win this tag team four-way elimination match.
I might go on a limb here, but at some point down the road, I could see the Kindred joining up with Bobby Lee and myself.
Well, I don't know how smart of a career move that would be, but if that happens, it happens.
I think that would be a good addition, because not to let the cat out of the bag, but Bobby Lee and myself, we've been talking, and we realized that there's strength in numbers, and we definitely been looking at a few people to reach out, and I'm gonna say this first on my podcast: the Kindred, it's definitely have been on our radar.
Well, that's definitely something I'll be interested to see if they take you guys up on your offer.
Never know. Stranger things have happened in wrestling business.
Mm-hmm. Well, and Tony, we also got another huge match. We have 5 matches with the Bunkhouse Stampede, but another interesting one is going to be for the NAWA television title, as AJ Frost is going to be defending against the former NAWA heavyweight champion. And to my knowledge, at least in my time there, he's been the longest reigning NAWA heavyweight champion in the company's history, holding that belt for over 2 years. And he's going after AJ Frost's TV title.
That's definitely.
And that's Johnny Ryder.
Johnny Ryder, yeah, he's a tough guy. I've been in the ring with him a couple times. Now AJ, he's been the TV champion for a little bit too. Didn't he take that belt from the Big Nasty Bastard?
He did defeat the BNB back in August. I don't know if, like I said, if we used instant replay, a lot of that maybe wouldn't have stood, but that's not here or there. He's the champion. He's got the belt around his waist, and he's going to be walking into Lenore this Saturday night to defend that belt against Johnny Ryder. But, if Johnny Ryder connects with that 30-06, he's knocked plenty of guys out with that right hand of his. And if he lands it flush on AJ Frost, he may be laying flat on his back, and we might have a new TV champion, Tony.
Well, that's true, but I will say this: I saw a video that the NAWA posted just a few days ago with AJ Frost and George South in a anything goes match, I believe it was. If AJ can make it through that kind of stuff with George South, now I know he didn't come out on top, but he lasted there with George. If he can do that, I think he might have a good chance against Johnny Ryder.
Yeah, he lost an unsanctioned match against George South. He also lost a match similar to that to the Big Nasty Bastard when he also went for his mask. He got his head shaved and got beat up pretty bad in a match similar to that as well. But nobody's denying the toughness of AJ Frost or how good of a wrestler he is. He can beat Johnny Ryder, but Johnny Ryder is a special talent as well. And you don't hold the heavyweight championship for 2 years if you're not a tough man.
That's true, and the only reason that the Allen brothers are the tag team champions is because AJ Frost and myself haven't teamed up yet.
Well, and like you said, never say never in professional.
That's there's a good chance that he might get offered to join up with my manager Bobby Jack, me and myself. See, I'm gonna get excited. I forgot his name there for a minute, but and then of course that two big matches there, and it keeps going. What's next on the card?
I think that's all the matches we have. That's the 4 big matches, and then the Bunkhouse Stampede, and that's what we're offering is there's the 6-man tag that you've chickened out of apparently at the last minute, because I know you're afraid of those 3 guys standing across the ring. And we have the television title match with AJ Frost and Johnny Ryder, the 4-way elimination tag with the teams that we just mentioned, the Allen brothers, who just won those tag team titles. They've only defended them 1 time. This may be the last time they defend them. The odds are definitely stacked against them. And then we have the heavyweight championship being defended in the Texas Bull Rope match, as we got the 2 big bulls, Thunder Anderson and Big Donnie, going to go to battle again. And then we got the 30-man come as you are, bring whatever weapons you can find, Bunkhouse Stampede, the 7th annual Bunkhouse Stampede, Tony. This is the 7th year in a row that we've done this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the first one in the 7 years, the first one that I've missed. Dang it.
Well, it'll be another year that you do not win it. Unfortunately. But there's always next year. I will be ready for next year, and I'll show up in my Austin Hall boots and kick somebody in the face. But Mr. Elliott, I am so glad that we got to sit down tonight and talk and really put over the NAWA and talk about this Bunkhouse Stampede. And kind of like I said at the beginning, I'm really happy with the direction of the NAWA and how you're always able to put together some great cards and some great matches and great entertainment for the people. And it's always a pleasure to work for you. I always enjoy coming to the NAWA. I'm always looking forward to it. I get goosebumps when I get there. Who knows? Maybe as the months and weeks go on, you can send more of your talent to my podcast, and we'll do like a whole series on getting to know the NAWA talent. We'll do our best to get that put together, and NAWA is very special to me. It's got a very special place in my heart, and a lot of people don't know that NAWA was going to be shut down. Probably last August was going to be the last show, and I just, as it being a part of it for the last 4.5, 5 years, I couldn't let that happen. I'm not ready for it to be over with. I wasn't ready for it to shut down. And the previous owner, he was just done. And I just said, man, let me make you an offer. And we worked something out. And the NAWA is going to be around for a long time. And, I don't know how long I'm going to be in charge of it, but I hope someday when I'm ready to to quit, that someone else will come along and say, I want to, it means something to me. I want to keep it going. Buddy Shane started this back in the late 70s, and it's been around pretty much ever since. So it's got a long history, and we're going to continue to try to grow this thing, and we're going to try to expand out of our normal areas. We'll always go back to Morganton and Lenore, but we're looking to go to other places and maybe into South Carolina. But we're on a slow climb. I've seen too many places, and just was a part of a place that got too big way too fast, and just kind of ended kind of on the tail end of things. But slow and steady is what we're looking for, and hopefully we can continue to grow in AWA and this Bunkhouse Stampede. If people come out and watch it, they're going to have a great night of family-friendly wrestling. There might be a little bit of violence. There's going to be weapons, but they're going to get their money's worth, and that's what we hope is we send the fans home happy, and they want to come back for more.
Yeah, and I know there's going to be a lot of people there. I've already gotten a few messages asking inbox messages from people that follow me on Facebook and stuff, and want to know what time's the show, when's it start. So I know there's going to be a good turnout. So if you're contemplating going to the bunkhouse, don't contemplate too long. Get there early, or like Michael said, go on the Facebook page and get your advance tickets. But you don't want to miss this one, fans. I feel terrible that I'm missing it, but I'm hoping to tune into Facebook and hopefully at least get an update. I know Bobby Lee will be texting me and give me the lowdown, but I'm excited to see how it turns out, and I'm excited to hear that the Kindred's going to be the new tag champs, and Chris Thunder Anderson will be the new heavyweight champion, and AJ will hold on to that TV title some way, somehow. And then, man, I don't even have an idea who could walk out as the bunkhouse champion. But like Michael said, the winner is going to get a shot at any belt in the NAWA that he desires. Let's hope he's smart and goes after the NAWA title. It's exciting, man. I cannot wait to see what the next couple of months hold for the NAWA.
Well, Tony, thank you for having me on. I really enjoyed it. And, you got my first interview as, I guess, owner of NAWA, so you got that, and I was glad to do it. And like I said, Saturday night's going to be a great night, and hopefully we're going to have a big turnout, and the guys are going to put on a hell of a show for everybody.
Yeah, it's going to be great. So fans, make sure you do that, and also make sure that you like and follow the Binge Buster Show. I dropped this a couple days ago, but there's only a very limited quantity. But all you people out there, the guys that have always wanted to beat me up, and the girls have always wanted to sleep with me, well, here's your chance. The very first terrific Tony, Saturday Night Superstar, Tony Binge Buster Show, Wrestling Buddy, is going to be available. Those they should be ready to ship next week. So if you want one of those, send the Binge Buster Show an inbox message. I will tell you how to purchase that. I'll autograph it for you, send it to you, whatever you need. The price on those are going to be $35 plus shipping, U.S. only. So if you want to do that, let me know. I'll be glad to send those to you. And if not, still make sure you like our show and follow us each week on your favorite podcast platform. And I'm Tony, and for Michael, I will see you next week here on the Binge Buster Show.
Thank you for listening to the Binge Buster Show. Make sure you like us on Facebook and download us on your favorite podcast platform.